if you don't know your value, you're always going to continue to give a discount. And this
Mm.
is why I tell people, like, you'll never see a diamond outside the glass. You'll never just, unless they're actually showing it to you. But other than that, it stays behind the glass. Why? Because it's valuable, right? And what we have to understand is that God created each and every one of us so valuable. But what happens is that we compromise our value to give discounts to people who are never meant to be in our life.
You are now listening to the Going North podcast with your host, author and speaker, Dom Brightman. And every Monday and Thursday, you're going to hear the voice of a different author share their stories, expertise, and their struggles that they had to overcome in life to leave you inspired to get more out of your life. Be sure to not only listen to this episode, but share with others, connect with the authors, and always advance others to advance yourself. Now let's get on with the show. And today on the Going North podcast, we're back at you again with another author, baby. And I got to tell you, the year 1991 has three great things about it. The South Pole clothing line, the podcast host being born that year, as well as today's wonderful guest. Because, man, I got to tell you, a fellow millennial, he's also a minister, as well as a best-selling author, including one of his books, which is Thou Shalt Be Successful, 30 Principles to Birthing Out the Real You. And he is also a powerhouse speaker, y'all. I gotta tell you, saw clips of this man all over social media, inspiring the youth, baby, to go out there and just charge through freaking like 10 brick walls. Forget one brick wall, just 10 of them, man. And just make this your decade of ultimate success happen. And you're probably wondering who this wonderful author is. It's the one and only William Winfield. How are you today, sir?
And listen, bro, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Life as well. Life as well. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Oh man, I appreciate you, man. It's a rare occasion where you meet someone who's born in the same year and on similar path as you. It's a great thing.
Definitely. Definitely. Always, man. Always.
Yeah, man. So gave a short little glimpse to the wonderful world of Will the Motivated Mind, filling in some gaps where I may have missed some things.
Yeah, man. So I'm a husband to a beautiful queen, Jennifer. I have a daughter and two sons. I'm always just, I'm a family man. The reason why I say it that way, man, is because my dad wasn't in my life. So to be able to have a family and to be there for them and to, see my daughter's first teeth come in and to see her crawl and to change her diapers, even with my sons, man, it's just a blessing, man. I don't take it for granted.
Amen to that, dude. And even though you didn't have a father figure, no, you're still able to find a way to create your own version of success. And the great part is it ain't even done yet.
Definitely. Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, sir, indeed. A wonderful husband and a father. That's what I'm talking about. Always got to admire those who actually take care of their children, stay in the home, man, because that's one thing that's probably a cause for some of the nonsense going around today is the fact that there's a lack of some fathers, or at least father figures, not being in the home with helping out the mom, because it's like with the mom themselves, they have to play all the roles of disciplinarian, caregiver, everything. And sometimes they feel schizophrenic because they don't have the other person helping them out and making it a little easier for them.
Exactly. Definitely. Definitely.
So, what inspires you to become a motivational speaking author, man?
Yeah. Man, listen, I get this question a lot, man. And I just tell them, man, homelessness, right? I used to be the type of person I go out to the club every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday. driving a nice car, and then homeless people be asking for $1. I take the dollar, and what I'm saying, make them chase me. What I'm saying, for the dollar.
Oh damn.
Yeah, man, it was bad. It was bad. When I tell people that now, they're like, "Get out of here!" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Thank God for Jesus, right?" So, I used to make them chase me. And eventually, at some point, I believe that the seeds that you sow is what you're gonna reap, and that's what happened to me. When I walked into my job that I worked at for 3 years, and my boss called me to the back, and he said, "Mr. Winfield, the company is going through a transition right now, and we can't afford to have any more any workers. So we're gonna have to, let you go, sadly." And I felt that I was valuable. I knew how to do the forklift. I knew how to, demo. I knew how to drain Freon out of refrigerators. It was crazy. But I remember that day, I started, getting in the car, and I was driving all the way from Franklin, Massachusetts, all the way back to Rhode Island, crying, trying to figure out how I'm gonna feed my family. So fast forward, eventually I ended up starting to work at a homeless shelter. And in that process of working at the homeless shelter, I'll never forget it. There was a client there who was, basically on the terms of killing himself. He kept saying, "I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill myself. I just can't stand life no more. People always picking on me. People always stealing from me. Every person I try to, every person I trust, they end up just backstabbing me." So, my coworker, Jerome, he was like, he had a deep voice. So he was like, "Hey, go check on him, man. Make sure he's all right." And I was like, "All right, man." So I went to go check on him. I said, "Hey, man, what's going on, man?" And he's just like, "Man, I just feel like killing myself. Life's not worth it." And this is all I said to him, man. I said, "Listen, man, you ain't got to kill yourself. You're valuable. You're worth it. You don't have to do that." And then, because of protocol in the shelter, if somebody, is talking about wanting to kill themselves, you have to call the ambulance. So eventually we walked downstairs, and I sat with him. I had my hands around his shoulder, and I was just basically telling him, like, "Listen, man, it's going to get better. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get out of this, right?" So I waited there, and then they put him in the ambulance, and then literally 2 days after, um, I come into work a little bit earlier than usual, and my coworker again, Jerome, goes, "Hey, guess who's here to see you?" I said, "Who's here?" You know what I'm saying? He said, "Mr. Such and Such is here." I said, "Okay, well, where's he at?" He said, "Right over there." So I went to him, and immediately, what I'm saying, he dropped his bags and hugged me and said, "Thank you so much for those words, man. Because of you, I didn't kill myself." And I thought about it. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I was going to kill myself, but I thought about what you said. And right there, man, like the light bulb went off. I'm like, "Yo, wow, like my words have power." And from that day forward, from the homeless shelter, I started working with recovering drug addicts. And in that process of working with recovering drug addicts, there was another group that I facilitated. And mind you, what I'm saying, these people, they have master's degrees. You know what I'm saying? I just got a high school diploma. And I'm in this group, and I'm just murdering the group. I'm just speaking about life and overcoming obstacles. And one client um, basically wrote to his counselor, like, "Listen, man, if it wasn't for his group, I would have killed myself." So again, suicide again. You know, mind you, that I was also wanting to kill myself during the process of losing a job and stuff. So that's what really sparked the interest, man, to become a speaker, understand that my words have power, and that there's people out here who need to hear my story, and also people out there who don't know how to get to that next level. And I believe that that's what God's called me to do. So yeah, man, that's how it started.
That is amazing right there, and glad that you helped save that man's life, and I guess in turn, God allows you to save yours, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes, indeed, man. It's amazing the power of a kind word, man, because it's especially nowadays, man, because everybody is fighting an invisible battle these days, and depression is so high across the whole darn country, if not the whole world, man. And it is just the power of a kind word that can just turn that around, even just for a day, just long enough to help them realize, like, hey, I can keep going, I can keep moving.
Oh yeah, definitely. Totally agree.
Yeah, man. And so basically, lost the job, and then you ended up being with the homeless folks yourself as a self, right?
As a staff, started working there. So yeah, yeah. Might as well say, what I'm saying, I was there a lot. So yeah, man.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Was able to transform that, and then I'm guessing you're giving like motivational seminars back then for the folks in the shelter. Then that from that perspective, then I guess.
Yeah, more on a one-on-one coaching setting. And I didn't even realize it though, man. Like I was actually coaching without realizing I was coaching, which is kind of funny. So, it's just, like I said, man, the seeds that you plant is the harvest you're gonna reap, So you gotta just be careful how you plant those seeds, man, because never forget where you come from. Never forget what you've been through because, as easily as you got to the top is as easily as you can lose everything and be at the bottom, So that's just what I'm learning about life.
Oh yeah, you're right about that. I think it was one guest a few months ago. She was out in the UK and she was putting on these events and she was only charging $30 an entry fee and folks weren't signing up for it. She told a friend about it and she was like, "Hey, you remember those days you were in Jamaica and you didn't have a penny?" It's like you got to remember, not everybody can afford just for a motivation event, even if it's a low cost entry, $30. It's like that's not affordable for everybody. There could be somebody who's like in the red
Mm.
with like thousands of dollars in debt.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. It's true. It's true.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And speaking of Siege, you ended up publishing multiple books. And I guess, well, actually, what led you to becoming a minister? How did your call to the ministry just happen? Was it during the time you were in the shelter, just helping out the homeless folks, or was it like afterwards? How did that all come about?
Yeah, man, it definitely came from the setting of the shelter, man, because, my mom, she grew up in the church, what I'm saying, church mother, I was born in the church, raised in the church, and she taught me everything that I needed to know. The fundamentals of the Bible. And I just was running. I was running, man. I was running. I was running. I was running. I didn't care about anybody trying to talk about Jesus to me. You know what I'm saying? People out there passing tracks out with, the devil with a pitchfork. Talking about you going to hell. Like, I guess I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I am. you know, you know,
Oh, man.
I was just like, yeah, man. So, I just kept ignoring it, kept ignoring it. And again, what I'm saying? Like, those are the seeds that I sowed, so the harvest that I reaped was, losing a job. The harvest that I reaped was, not having, that financial stability. And, as time progressed, man, I started getting around, dynamic ministers, Bishop James H. Cook, Pastor Eli Hernandez, and I'll never forget them, man. Like they have invested so much into me, and they seen it when I didn't see it. And they anointed me, and they said you're called to do this. And I thought that I was called to preach, man. And what I realized is that I'm called to preach, but not on a level of a pastor. My pulpit is anywhere that I go. You know what I'm saying? And my microphone is my mouth. So if I'm at Walmart, what I'm saying, I'm preaching. You know,
Amen.
if I'm at Target, I'm preaching. If I'm at a school, or if I'm at corporate, if I'm in college, high school, it don't matter where it's at. Like I'm always preaching. So I believe that my pulpit is not just in the church, man. That pulpit is universal. And once I realized that, I'm like, hey, that's why I wear my hat. People be like, you wear your hat in church. Like I know, old mothers and stuff used to give out the strawberry candies. Remember those candies, man?
Oh, those are my favorites.
Yeah, man, them things was good too, boy. But
Jelly in the center too.
yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see Jesus' pinky toe and everything. So it's just like, yeah, man. But that's what sparked it, man. You know what I'm saying? Just people believing in me and seeing what I couldn't see and telling me, what I'm saying, what I'm going to do and how I'm gonna get there. And I just walked it out, and it's just, amazing what trials and tribulations will do to you. They'll help you to yield to life and to just, understand the process, man. Like you're not that deep, you're not that sweet, and always remember you're replaceable. And the reason why I do what I do, man, is because of God, man. And when it comes to ministry, if I'm at a church, they're gonna get to work. And I don't change who I am. I don't change my outfit. I don't change my hat because mainly I know that God has called me to speak to the youth, the millennials. Period. And a lot of millennials can learn how to adapt to what I say because they you know what I'm saying, they see that mirror reflection. So yeah, man, that's just how it started. That's how it came about it. So yeah.
That's good, man. It's an amazing thing that you mentioned now. Basically, your pulpit isn't just going to be in some random stationary church. It's like wherever you go, and that's a great mindset to have, and that's a great, great platform, man. Because we're going to need that now more than ever nowadays. Because folks are tired of going to churches nowadays. I mean, sure, we still got mega churches out there that folks still flocking to, but around them, your local churches, they're closing every day. I mean, church has been around for 30, 40, 50 years. They've been around for a long time. Heck, even Notre Dame, a few days at the time of this recording, a few days ago, that part
Mm,
of that burned down. And it's like, man, you like so many souls out there, they need the word, they need that positivity, they need Jesus.
mm.
And it's great that you're making sure that you're basically agile with your message, which is an amazing thing, man. I commend you for that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, indeed. And preach it to the millennials, man. So any advice for those folks who may be, because I know I got a few Christian listeners on the
Mm.
podcast. So any advice you want to give to them, anyone in their like maybe late 30s or 40s, and they may want to try to connect with the younger generation. Any advice you want to give to them?
Yep, definitely, man. First thing I'm gonna say is that always be yourself. A lot of people are trying to be like everybody else, and God's never called you to be like nobody. He's called you to be like yourself. That's the first thing. Because these millennials, they can sniff it out. They know if you're fake. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy, man. They know. But they know when it's genuine and you care. So be yourself, and then be relatable. You know what I'm saying? Like, be relatable, and tell them your story. People can connect to you when you tell a story. It's just something about stories, right? So I was having a conversation with somebody. Literally, yep, last Saturday. I was on a radio show, and one of the hosts asked me. He said, "What would you say to people who um don't want to read the Bible?" And I said this. I said it's very simple. You have to understand that times change. You know what I'm saying, and things are different. And sometimes you may be the only Bible that somebody reads, right? And what I believe is that we've been taught that there's 66 books, right? What
Mm-hmm.
we have to understand is there's more than 66 books. Why? Because you got a story, I got a story, right? So that's 68, right? And then
Nice.
somebody else,
Nice.
right? So we have to understand that concept. Like, you think Paul's better than you? No, Paul just happened to do what he was called to do, and he's in the book. We are all in
Mm.
the Bible. You have to understand that we are all in the Bible. And when I go to the book of, Jennifer, if I go to the book of Alex, you know what I'm saying? Your story is in there, right? And you're living out your story by walking it out. And this is what I always say, man. Like, you don't know a true preacher by when they preach at the pulpit. You know a true preacher, or you know a true leader by what they do when nobody's looking. That's how you know, right? So we have to understand that these millennials, right, they need somebody who's relatable. And the only way you can relate to them and connect with them is tell them your story. Tell them what you've been through. Tell them what you have gone through. You know what I'm saying? The tough times, the highs, the lows. Let them see that, hey, there's hope. Like, yeah, I may be selling drugs, but yo, there's hope. Yeah, I may have got locked up, or maybe I'm getting, court ordered to go to school, but hey, there's hope. And if he can do it or she can do it, then I can do it. And then what I'm going to say, number three is just very simple. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you. And what I mean by do you, go in there and just explain to them, like, hey, I know you guys are dealing with things, you know what I'm saying, that you don't want to talk about, but I'm here for you. Like, every time I speak, man, I always leave my number. I leave every single possibility for them to be able to contact me. And they do. You know what I'm saying? Because I made that connection. That's why point number 2 is so important. And then the last part is just do you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, do you, give them your information, let them be accessible to them. Let them know that, hey, I'm human and I go through things just like you guys go through things. And I'm telling you, like, you're going to get to where you need to get to, but you're going to have to go through some stuff and you're young. And that's what I tell them all the time. So I hope that was pretty good. I hope that would answer a little bit of the questions or something.
Yeah, you're right about that, man, and being relatable to him. Heck, even funny enough, after my pastor was done preaching, he mentioned how he it was like a school career day or whatever, and he went there one day in a suit. Folks didn't want to hear nothing he was saying. Next opportunity, he got to speak to a group of young kids and millennials. He made sure that he wore his jeans and Timberland boots because
Yep.
most folks in the urban areas they see you in a suit and they're like, man, all right, what are you trying to sell me, man? It's like
Oh yeah.
you gotta be relatable to folks, and you're right, man. It's and I like what you said about the fact that we're basically kind of in a way the part of the Bible in a way we all have our different stories. I
Yes.
mean, it may not be in the traditional one they sell in the bookstore or on Amazon, but it's like it's like the end game, the Lamb's Book of Life. It's like will your
Mm,
name be in there, and you got to live your life according to what the book is saying, and can you share that story with others so that they too can be part of that one final book, and it just hit me. It's like, wow, that my man just illuminated something totally different for me. So that was amazing, dude. That was amazing.
definitely, man. Definitely.
Yes, sir, indeed, man. Yes, sir, indeed. And speaking of books, I believe you got what, four out, or is it just two? Or
Got three. I'm cooking up the fourth one. Fourth one is gonna be done soon. But I just got three right now.
oh, that's right. Let's see. My favorite one, "Thou Shalt Be Successful." Then there's "Reprogramming Your Faith," and I believe the third one.
Get off the clearance rack.
That's right. "Get Off the Clearance Rack, baby." That's right. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So what inspired the titles, man? Especially the "Get Off the Clearance Rack," man.
What inspired me to write Get Off the Clearance Rack is because I went through a divorce, and during that process, I lost who I was. I was so focused on this one particular person, and I'm telling you, man, like soul ties is real, bro. I mean, real. I
Yes, sir.
like like 2 o'clock in the morning, bro, looking at Facebook trying to be like, okay, where's she at? What location? You know what I'm saying? Like who's she with? Who's she taking a picture with? Who's in the picture? You know what I'm saying? Like trying to, text her and, just basically, ask my cousin, have she seen her or anything? And I had to come to the realization, man, that if you don't know your value, you're always going to continue to give a discount. This
Mm.
is why I tell people, like, you'll never see a diamond outside the glass. You'll never just, unless they're actually showing it to you. But other than that, it stays behind the glass. Why? Because it's valuable, right? And what we have to understand is that God created each and every one of us so valuable. But what happens is that we compromise our value to give discounts to people who are never meant to be in our life. And
Wow.
we have to understand that God's never called you to be outside the glass. He put you behind the glass where they keep the most valuable things. Period. So we have to understand that, hey, if you continue to go through horrible relationships, you need to check your price tag. Are you
Wow.
giving too many discounts? You know what I'm saying? And I specifically wrote that book not just for people who are getting divorced, not just for marriages, but also friendships, because it happens in friendships too. Like I told one of my clients the other day, bro. They said, "How do I know if somebody's just taking from me?" I said, "Very simple. If they take more than they add, then they're not for you. Every relationship that you have, it needs to be equal adding, equal sacrifice. Period. If it's not equal, then it's not for you. And you need to get around from people who are not adding to your life, but always taking from you. Like it's easy for somebody to be with you when you have a full tank of gas, but then try riding with people when your tank's on E and you ask for $5. They jumping out the car before you even try to get to the gas station. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, you're on your own, bro. So it's just like, wow. You know, it's just the truth. So for me,
It's
I
true.
need
You're right.
I need people in my success vehicle who's gonna push with me in hard times. I don't need you with me because I'm getting speaking engagement or because what I'm saying, I'm getting money, I'm getting opportunities. I don't need you to be with. I need you to be loyal to me, not the opportunities. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what people go wrong. Like they're like, oh, it's God's fault. No, it's your fault, dumb dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a mind of your own. You can't blame God for your mistakes. Period. You have to understand that every single thing that you do, whatever seed you plant is what you're gonna reap. point blank and period. So if you're sowing seeds of rushing a relationship, chances are you may have a kid too quick, or chances are you may have a quick divorce. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful the seeds that you plant. And then, reprogramming your faith. I wrote that book through the process of being homeless, because I lost faith in God because of what I lost and because of what I went through. And I had to realize, faith, forwarding all issues to heaven, man. Like, God is always there. You got to understand that. Like, it's like, I think that, people, they read the Bible, but I think the only Bible that people really read nowadays is Facebook. Like, they just on Facebook, they reading it. Oh, okay, wow, I like that. And you have to spend time with God, man. Like, for me, that's my core. You know what I'm saying? Without him, I can't do anything. I can't even be on this podcast right now, man, without the power of God, man. So I wrote that book specifically for people who are struggling and who have been in churches and felt that they were nobody, and they were going through religious routines, and not being able to be their organic self. And then the third book, Thou Shalt Be Successful, 30 Principles of Birthing Out the Real You. And it's just 30 principles that I use on a day-to-day basis, what I'm saying, that I turned into habits, and I've learned, and I've adopted to my life, and just walked them out. And they work, man. They work for me, and it's working for other people. The great thing about it, man, like my cousin, she hit me up one night, and she was like, "Hey, just sending you this picture." And it was a picture of her arm, and she cut her arm.
Oh man.
Right. And then she said, "I was gonna cut my other arm, but then I read the chapter about the eagle." And she said, because I read that chapter, what I'm saying, I wiped my blood, and I didn't do it. Thank you so much for this inspiration. A simple chapter, mind you, what I'm saying, I was in special ed. I don't know how I write books. You know what I'm saying? But they anointing to do crazy things, man, right? So yeah, man, those are my books, man, and what inspired me to write them is just very simple. I want people to be greater than me. Point blank and period. Like, I want people to be greater than me. I'm not afraid to pass the baton. I'm not afraid to show people what I know and how to implement what I know and become greater than me. The Holy Spirit told me one day, he said, the greatest investment in life is investing in others and seeing them become greater than yourself. And when he told me that, I was like, whew. And it's hard, man. Like, I think a lot of people definitely know on this podcast, like, when you worked at a job, or if you work at a job, on the first couple of weeks, people are trying to train you, but they don't teach you everything. They just teach you the basic stuff. They don't teach you the other stuff. And why is that? Because they have a fear of being replaced. You get what I'm saying? They have a fear of being replaced. They're like, if I teach this person everything, they're going to take my spot. And what we have to understand about in life is that Jesus wasn't even afraid to teach disciples everything, because his job was to make sure that they became greater than himself. And when you get to that point, leaders don't compete, they duplicate. That's it. That's all you do. You duplicate, and you help people get to the next level. So yeah, man, that's what inspired me to write the books, and I do a little bit of gems in there too. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I love that Thou Shalt Be Successful, man. I was reading the book. I'm like, wow, man. It's because, especially the just entry where you use the water and the words, and from let's see, I think it was Masaru Emoto, about the water, about how
Yes.
yeah, the Japanese scientists who basically did the experiment with the water crystals, and just speaking positive over the clear, healthy water that wasn't polluted, and just speaking positive words over it, and it just became the sharp crystal. Then the other water in the other vial just became just basically a dark crystal that wasn't as sharp and wasn't as beautiful as the ones that had the positive words spoken over it. So it was like, man, that book definitely is a treasure, man. That one's definitely a treasure, man. And reprogramming your faith, man. Can't wait till the fourth one comes out too. That one's gonna be definitely great. And you have a title for it yet, or is that top secret?
Oh yeah, it ain't top secret, man. It's gonna. The title is From Broken to Masterpiece. My struggle, uh, my success, and I can't wait for release it. You're basically, everything that I've went through, from all the things that have helped me become who I am are in that book. I'm literally giving you every story from me being in an umbilical cord, wrapped around my neck, and I was about to die in my mother's womb. No father in my life. How did I, become the man I am today? Foster care, being raped, being molested, everything in the book, the divorce, you know what I'm saying? People who betrayed me, the night that I almost was supposed to die, due to going to the wrong spot at the wrong time by the, gang members. So yeah, man, that book's just basically my life, my story, my struggle, but also my success. So I just can't wait to release that, man.
Sounds like a powerhouse book indeed. That's what I'm talking about. That's indeed. And speaking of books, I'm pretty sure you read a lot, man, because a lot of the folks that you're quoting there, man, like from Tony Hsieh all the way to Miles Monroe, and of course the Be Like Tom Brady chapter, man. Like, so I'm pretty sure you read a lot, don't you?
Yes, I do. Have to.
Hey, amen to that, dude. So outside of the Bible, outside the Bible and your books, what would probably be like your top 3 or 5 favorite books that you've read so far?
Yeah, man. I would have to go with Overcoming Crisis, Dr. Miles Monroe. The Principles and Power of Vision, Dr. Miles Monroe. And I'm gonna have to go with Kingdom Man by Tony Evans, Dr. Tony Evans. Yeah,
Nice.
and then I'll also add in there to T.D. Jake Saw. Definitely phenomenal book. So yeah, I would go with those.
Yeah, some great powerhouses right there.
Oh yeah.
Yes, indeed. That Kingdom Man book. I still need to get around to reading that one. That one's on my ever growing reading list. It just grows every darn day.
Yeah. It has to, man. It has to, man. You know.
Yeah, it has to, but it's like that's just is about to knock over the Empire State Building in terms of height. That's the thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I feel you on that one.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, awesome indeed. So, for those who may be looking to one day eventually become a writer, and you said yourself you're in special ed, what would probably be the best advice that you would give to them when it comes to writing and then eventually publishing their work?
Stop waiting for the right time. Stop procrastinating. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for perfection. Get it out there. Like tomorrow's not promised, right? A lot of people just like, oh, I don't want. It's not perfect. Yeah, and that's why you're not an author yet. Stop waiting for perfection and just get it out there. People are going to relate based on your style of writing. Like not everybody writes perfect. I don't write perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm far from perfect. But I made sure that I took what was in my head, put it on paper, and sent it to the publisher. So what I am telling you is that you have to think this way. You're leaving a legacy, right? So for instance, Dr. Miles Monroe, he's not here, but this man has multiple books. And basically he's still living because people are still reading his material. So likewise, what is that one thing that you want to talk about? What is that one thing you want somebody to know? What's that one problem that you can solve? When people lay their head down at night, they're like, oh, I wish I could solve this problem. What that kind of problem? And put it in the book. And one thing you have to realize is that you write once, you get paid forever. That's it. You write once, you get paid forever. You're not just, selling a book. You're giving people information that's going to change your life. So you just got to keep going. Like, don't be like them, January 1st people, in the gym, for the first 2 weeks. And then, like the third week, there's nowhere to be found. Like, you don't want to be that type of person. If you're going to start the book, finish the book. If you're going to start the book, complete the book. If you're going to start the book, get it out there. People need to hear what you're saying. Never be afraid to put it out there, because I sure wasn't. I learned from every single book. I get better with the information. I get better with my style of writing. So just get it out there, man. Yeah.
Amen to that, man. And this is the time to do it now because There goes a statistic. I think it was back in 2017. It was a 273% increase of books being published right now, man. And with self-published work, it's like you can get a cover done professionally online on Fiverr for a very affordable price for under $100. It's like there's like no excuse now for people not to have their book out and to have it on par with the books that are on the shelf.
Yeah, it's true. So true, man. So true.
That's right, indeed, and making sure they're actually self-help as opposed to shelf-help, as some folks like to say, which I find pretty funny.
I like that one. Oh man.
Yes, indeed. If my man's got books, that'll definitely help. It will help your life, not your shelf. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure your shelf don't need no help.
it sure don't. Don't need no help at all.
Yes, indeed. Well, all righty, coming down the pike here. A question like to ask every guest is that if you were to wake up tomorrow and you're 19 again, but this time in the current year of 2019, with all of your amassed knowledge and personal growth and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Yep. Now, no opportunities wasted. Um, every opportunity is another opportunity for another opportunity. And you have to understand that time, you can never get it back. You can get back money, you can get back clothes, you can get back a car, you can get back a house, you can get back a marriage, you can get back kids. But one thing you can never get back is time. And one of the most beautiful things that the Creator has ever blessed us with was time, right? So you have to learn how to use your time effectively, right? Like, I say in my book, like, eagles don't stress the opinions of pigeons. So get away from pigeons and continue to fly as the eagle that you are. Continue to fly for your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, your legacy, right? Get around people who appreciate time. Time is the new currency. Don't waste it.
Solid advice indeed, baby. The NOW, baby. That's right. That's right indeed. That's what I'm talking about. Well, all righty. For those who want to keep in contact with you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Yep, definitely. So Instagram at Will is Blessed, Twitter at Will is Blessed 38, Facebook William Winfield, YouTube William Winfield, LinkedIn William Winfield, my website www.weareroyalty.today. Again, that is www.weareroyalty.today.
Yeah, well, there you have it, folks. We are royalty. Not today, baby. Today, not tomorrow, baby. That's right. That's right indeed. So get on the WW train, baby. Head over to his website, purchase some books, show man some support, subscribe to his YouTube page, head over to the Instagram, shoot him some DMs for some motivation, baby. And let him know what you loved about the podcast and loved about his wonderful books, as well as the ones that are still to come, baby. Book 4 is going to help folks get that 4-pack, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's go. Let's go.
That's right. Forget the 6-pack. Just do the 4-pack. Let me stop.
Oh man, I like this. This is good. I like it.
Yes, sir, indeed. So, any parting words for our wonderful listeners?
Absolutely. I'm gonna leave you in the words of Dr. Miles Monroe. The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but living life without purpose. Boom. Take that to the bank.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Thanks a bunch for your listening ears, and it's time now because it's here. Book number 2 is finally here. Stay the course. The Elite Performers 7 Keys to Sustainable Success. And you can pre-order your ebook copy today by heading over to Amazon.com and pressing that buy now button for only 99 cents. It is a low-cost investment in advancing yourself into your greatness. So let's go ahead to Amazon.com, type in Stay the Course. Look for the book with the big fat red letters, Stay the Course, and the compass pointing north. And yours truly, Dominic Brightman, is the author. And I thank you in advance for all that you do. Go out there and dominate.